Hi, everybody. This is Bonnie Barker with Bonnie Bay Crochet, and we are broadcasting from Virginia today from a baby's room. Yay. Just wanted to check in with some of you. I'm not sure I'm going to spend a whole hour today, but you never know. Kind of in the midst of helping a family member kind of what do you call it? Relocate. That's the word I'm looking for. So let me go ahead and say, hey, we might get a visitor in a minute if he decides to come visit us. Wanted to say hi to Angie, who's the first in our chat this morning. Hi, Angie. And Linda, Brad's mom, good to have you here from sunny but frigid Southwest Chicago suburbs. Thank you for that reminder on the thumbs up. Thank you so much. And Miss Wanda Gordon, she says, hello, Miss Bonnie and everyone. Beautiful day here in North Carolina. Praying all are well. Yes, that's the goal. And Love to Craft, waving back at you. And Ekstrom joining us from southern Sweden, where she says it's been a rainy day. Great crochet weather. Yes, indeed. This whole week has been great crochet weather with the cold temps. And I must tell you, it was really interesting. When the deep freeze hit Maryland, I mostly stayed indoors. Of course, you can't stay indoors and travel to Virginia. So my husband made sure that I was kicked out of the house early so that I would try to beat the Washington traffic. Kind of worked, kind of didn't, but left the house. My thermometer, I believe it was at about 3 degrees. And then at one point in the drive, it went down to 1 degrees. I guess the wind factor under the hood of the car where the thermometer is. I don't know. But anyway, really, really, really fun temps and made me really thankful. Yeah, Hannah says she can hear William. Oh yeah, he's in the room playing in his kitchen here. Anyway, it was just really made me thankful for indoor heat, and it made me really thankful for a heater that works on a car, and was really thankful that my car that has over 261,000 miles on it now worked beautifully for the drive and didn't break down, leaving me along the side of the road in the cold temperatures. But anyway, so really thankful for a lot of that. And Susanna says, good morning from chilly Northeast Kansas, working on a red version of Bonnie's Balmoral blanket. Oh, I would love to see that in red, Susanna. Looking forward to spending some time with you all. Thank you. And Kelly, so glad to see you. She said, I forgot about the Friday Fun Live. What is in the big twist package in the picture? Okay, the picture that I posted, I guess I'm a little bit of a hypocrite here. I didn't purchase this. I was going to. It's just a little pin. It was just a little about this big, and it just had a cute picture of a chicken, and it said yarn chicken. And when I went out to pay for it, I was going to get a couple of them actually. They were like $10 each, and no discounts were applied. So I was like, I can get a lot more yarn for that $10 than one pin. So I opted to not get it. But I thought it was so cute. And when we were shopping, I had my daughter-in-law hold it up and so that I could get a picture of it for you all. So I'm kind of benefiting, even though I didn't purchase it, I guess. But anyway, it is free advertisement, I guess, for Joann's. We did buy some other things for Joann's. I came from Joann's. It's nothing really pretty to show you, just little components and things for a future design that I have up here. And Hannah says, yeah, pins are expensive. Yeah, sorry, sweetheart. I didn't realize. I mean, they are beautiful and probably worth every dollar. I just didn't have the faith for spending. Actually, I had 3 picked out. I didn't really want to spend $30 on 3 little pins. So I opted for something else later on in the shopping trip. But anyway, Heather is with us and says, good morning. Praying all are healthy and happy this day. And Kelly says, I'm crocheting an octopus purse charm. Wow, that sounds interesting. Yeah, it does sound cute, doesn't it? Kelly does a lot of fun things like that. You want to say hi? You want to come say hi, William? You want to say hi? I said hi. You want to come say hi? Go see Grandma. Say hi. Can you wave to everybody? You say hi. You say hi. Say hi.
He's looking at himself.
Is that fun? Okay. Say goodbye.
Oh boy.
All right. He's more interested in cooking. Good idea. Teach the man how to cook. Okay, Kirsty. um, let's see. We have Ramona Life in the same Ramona Leela. Okay, in the chat. I read that too fast. I'm sorry. She says, "Good morning from Anchorage, Alaska. 37 degrees, going up to be 42. Oh, practically tropical temperatures here now. Anything above freezing is gonna feel good to me." She says, "Feels like springtime. Yes. Have a beautiful and blessed weekend. Thank you. Enjoy the warmer temperatures. Hope the snow melt doesn't, it is what it is, but I hope it doesn't freeze too much into too much ice. Hope it, can melt fully where you need it to be safe." Kelly's asking for prayers for Rocky to fully recover. Rocky the dog. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry to hear about that, Kelly. Has been shot twice. Ooh, I'm not even going to talk about that. That just sounds so sad. But I do hope that gets resolved. I hope he comes through. And Barbara, so good to have you in the chat here. She says, "Raining cats and dogs here. My. And she's another one of our Alaskan friends. So, yeah, wow. I know you guys have had tons of snow, quite literally. I just love the photos that you send me, Barbara. That is just, it's just such a great way to stay in touch and just to be aware of another way of living. It's just amazing to this Floridian to see these pictures of how you clear your runway. And Barbara's husband has a small, I guess you call it a bush plane. And just a kind of a different, you have to fly to go get groceries. I mean, very different kind of life, but really wonderful. She's so, how can I say it? Just can do so many different things there. Make the most of so many things. It's great. And thank you, Hannah, for being in the chat and welcoming everybody. And hope you're staying healthy and warm. Hannah, over in South Carolina near the coast, was shoveling snow, shoveling her driveway all day yesterday. 5.5 inches of snow. The last time that I remember even anything like that in the Myrtle Beach area was in 1989. For those of you who were in South Carolina or really along the coast, back the Christmas of '89 was my only white Christmas, and it was in South Carolina. Pretty amazing stuff. Okay, Hannah's filling me in about her pin collection. She's got a huge, amazing pin collection. She says, yeah, they do cost around $10 each. And as far as the shoveling of the snow, Hannah's saying, yeah, my hands ache along with my legs. Yeah, it does that. We used to have 5 really wonderful snow shovelers. Of course, my husband and I would be out there shoveling snow along with everybody else. We have a whole collection of snow shovels, but we've gone to using a snow removal, a snow blower that attaches to our lawn tractor for our yard. So it's kind of, my husband likes to call it a Yankee lawnmower. It's a great way to just remove the snow. Oh, he thought that was funny. I'm sure William understood that completely. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So let's see. So we have Sandra joining us from a very windy Southern California. Yeah, I hope those winds settle down at some point, Sandra. I know it's been a mess out there in Southern Cal. And Red Hooked is joining us from Northeast Ohio. And Martha says warmer in Alaska than in Western PA. Yeah, actually, let me check my phone. You're at 37 degrees. What are we here? We're at 32 degrees in Gaithersburg. Where I am in, let's see, is it on here? Okay, we're the same. We have the same temperature as Alaska right now. So we're at the same 37 degrees currently, going up to a balmy 39 or so degrees today before it goes back down into the 20s below freezing. So Okay, Kelly's wondering if I'm going to be doing a drawing anytime soon. You know, I do have something, but not this week. Maybe next week, Kelly. Um, I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I do have an extra copy of Crochet World magazine at home. I'm not at home, so I really don't have a whole lot to show you. But no, I don't have anything right now, Kelly. Once my travel time settles down, I'll be able to get more into some of that. But maybe next week. Maybe next week. Like I said, I do have an extra copy of Crochet World magazine because I'm getting two in the mail now. I pay for a subscription and I'm a member of CGOA, which gives me a free copy. So I don't need one of the copies. So I'll be sending that out to somebody at some point. Probably talk about that next week, where I can actually show you some of the photos in the magazine. And Phil, welcome to the chat. I'm so glad that you're out there. I hope you're doing well with all the snow as you drive your tractor trailer and supply us everywhere. Um, yeah, Hannah's asking you, how are the roads? And Phil says, Hannah, hope you're doing well. Yeah, I can't speak for Phil, but I can speak for the drive from Maryland to the mountains of Virginia, and the roads were great. The roads were totally fine. There was snow everywhere on the ground, but the roads were fine. Could have even driven to Miata, but I didn't. Yeah, yeah. So I needed to be able to bring some stuff back with me. So the Miata is definitely not a hauling car. You don't haul anything in that besides yourself in a couple bags. Okay, Kelly, my email is in the video description, but I'm going to go ahead and add it to the chat now since you're asking. Okay. We have Ola Joe in the chat. It's good to see you, my friend. Looking forward to meeting you at a conference sometime. That goes for everybody here. If you ever go to a conference and I'm there, please pull me aside and say hi. I would love to meet you. And I have some kind of mixed news on that to let you all know. I had applied to the Dallas Fort Worth Fiber Festival. Seems like they don't need my classes this time around, so I'm not going to be going to Dallas. A little bit bummed about that, but I trust the Lord and know that it's His best plan. And I do have another grandbaby to look forward to meeting. Hopefully, a couple months before then. So it does kind of leave me a buffer, so I don't have to worry about that trip. I'm still going to be applying to Pittsburgh and hoping that things work out there. I did apply, although late, to another conference up in Prince Edward's Island. I won't know until March whether they will be hiring me as a teacher or not. It's not one that I know that much about, but you guys will be the first to know if I get a positive reply on that. From Lovecraft says, thanks again, Bonnie, for your prayers for my son Angel's surgery. They removed the stitches on Tuesday and all looks well. The lump they removed was benign. That is the best possible news I can think of. Lovecraft. That is fabulous. Thank you for sending that to me, Hannah. That is very, very good. Thank you. And praise the Lord for that. Let's see. And we have Alana says it's finally getting a little warmer down here. Good. And Phil says, well, I'm in Texas today, so the roads are good. 48 degrees here today, right now. And just to let you know, Phil, you probably are on top of all this. You have to be with that truck. We got a small taste of that with my husband driving a 26-foot. It was a Penske truck helping my son and his wife and family to move, and that was an adventure. I mean, I just met him here in Virginia, and then I followed him home to Maryland. But just even thinking about how to get into gas stations and whether you can make certain turns, and this is not nearly as long of the truck as the one that you're hauling, but it's the biggest thing he's ever driven, aside from the 24-foot trailer that he regularly pulls with a truck for our church setup. But It was quite a truck. It had air brakes, and he said he was seeing eye to eye with the 18 wheelers. So, and it was a little tricky too because the truck is not his, and it kind of pulled to the left with the braking, and probably needed some work done on it. But anyway, was thinking about you and all the others, you and Wanda, out there always, driving those trucks, and it is hard work. And for those of you who don't know much about Momentum, give trucks lots and lots of space out there. Okay, I know you're smart and you know that, but don't try to cut off a tractor trailer in traffic because it may not end that well for you. And um, they need a lot more stopping space than we do in our little cars. So give them grace, please. Let them in. Let them in front of you when they need to get over. Don't try to beat them to the place where the road ends. That may not go well for you either. So definitely look out for our truckers. They are serving us well, and they have a very hard and important job to do. Um, Marie, so good to see you in the chat. Um, Sorry we couldn't get together this time around. My timing is just it's just less and less free as I when I go down to South Carolina. Um, just I really need to be closer to the house these days, so it's really hard to schedule, meetups. I didn't even go to the yarn store this last month when I was down there. Just it was just too much time away. I really needed to be there by the house to serve. So, um, and DM, is that Tuzo? Welcome. She says, good morning. He, she, sorry, I'm not trying to assume either way. But says, good morning from New York City, New York, USA. Hope your new year is off to a great start. Yes, it is. It is. It's off to a very busy start, but a very good start. Getting some work done, and I'll be getting some more designing work done once I get home. And Cindy, hi from Maryland. Yay. Um, my home, it's where I live. I'll be going back there tomorrow. So welcome, welcome. And Donna says, hello from cold Ohio. Yep. Isn't it great though? We get to wear all the things that we make throughout the year. All the, we're got distracted there for a minute. Yeah, we get to wear all the things that we make. I was actually wearing my hats. I have to tell you a funny story real quick in case this happens to you. Do you ever need to go out the door with your like a hat? It was so cold. I needed a hat. I mean, it was like in the single digits. And I went outside and it was like, yikes. I didn't even want to walk to the mailbox without a hat. And I couldn't find a hat. Could you believe that? I did go into my design back and I got a hat out of one of my the beginning crochet uh designs that I use because I like to keep them, kind of set apart to show you guys and to use as examples and everything. But I couldn't find my hats. I did find them since then. I packed two of them with me on this trip so I would have them, but I couldn't find a winter hat. Is that like really sad for a crochet designer? You need a scarf. Well, what scarf am I going to wear? And, anyway, just throw that out there. I know you guys make these things for everybody else and give them to everybody. Just wondering if that's ever happened to you. um, and let's see, we have Elaine in the chat. Hi, Elaine. And Phil says there is no beating Washington traffic. Oh, you are so right, Phil. My husband, I got up at 5:30 in the morning, was out the door by 6:30, but I got torpedoed at the gas station, my usual gas station. I tried pulling up to two different pumps and couldn't get the pumps to work. That never happens to me. It happened the first time it happens is when I'm trying to get out of my area to get ahead of Washington traffic. Um, and then right as I'm trying to get on to 270, and that road that connects up to 495, there's an accident. And you know where the accident is? Right as you get onto the expressway. So I had to do an alternate, even just to get onto the expressway. It delayed me about 20 minutes, which meant I got delayed by a lot of this traffic. But anyway, it still wasn't bad. This is such a better drive going west on 66 and then connecting up to 29. So much better than heading south on I-95, which is the usual route that I take to South Carolina. So much better. And then once I got out of Office 66, away from the Washington, D.C., I was about the only car on the road for the next 3 hours. So I have nothing to fuss about. It's just so glad that I was for once not going south and going west. So it was make for a much better drive. Okay, sorry guys, I'm maybe boring you guys with traffic talk, but Phil knows these roads. He knows what I'm talking about, and so would Wanda. Um, and Swati, so good to have you on our chat. She says, "Good morning from LA. Hope y'all are well. Popping in between work meetings to say hello." Well, hello. I hope you are staying well. Just still concerned about you with the fires out there. I just hope everything is going well with you. Um, and okay, I got a lot of. Whew. Well, let me go ahead and talk just a little bit about crochet here. Um, I don't have a lot to show you. I don't have anything to show you today except the baby blanket that is my grandson's. But just to let you know, news wise, the Sapphire Soliloquy scarf is available. That is live on both the Watch channel with a complimentary written pattern, and it is live on the YouTube channel here on the homepage, both the right and left handed. The pattern is available if you want to buy that. It's at Etsy and it's in my Lovecraft store. Um, yeah, and of course on the Watch channel for my Watch subscribers. We did have a really fun time. Um, was it yesterday? No, 2 days ago. Today's Thursday. It was no, today is Friday. Oh my gosh. Today is Friday. It's a travel brain, Today is Friday, so this would have been Wednesday. Several people came to the live Zoom that we had for the Watch subscribers, and it was a question and answer time, but it was just a really wonderful time catching up. So those of you who joined me with that, thank you so much. That was really, really encouraging for me and really fun and good to talk shop with my friends and talked a lot about yarn, talked some about designs, but talked a lot about different yarns and things like that. So always informative, and I learn from you all probably as much, if not more, from what you might learn from me. So I just really love hearing the different experiences, learning about different yarn companies that I haven't interacted with yet. So um, from that time, I might actually be trying some of Hirschner's yarn in the future and some other things. I know they've used my designs that were sold to them by Annie's over the years, and I've sold some of my stuff in kits. But that's not something that I personally benefit from financially, if that makes sense. It's not a problem because whenever you sell a design to a publishing house, they can do with it whatever they want. But all that to say is, I might contact them and see about working with them in the future. I would like to maybe try that. But thank you for your feedback. Those of you who were in the chat, I really appreciate that. Um, okay, so there's a question from Jane. It says, "Can I print your wild Irish throw or not?" Because absolutely, print it out. I mean, that's a PDF. Definitely print it out for your private use. You can print it as many times as you want for your private use. Um, you're just not allowed to sell the design as your design. And this is where I run into problems because a lot of people, there are some people who actually take designs, photocopy them, and then sell them on Etsy as theirs. That's against the copyright. Printing it for your own use as many times as you need, that is why you buy the pattern. Absolutely, feel free to do that. And as a as a okay, I'm getting another question here that's kind of confusing me. But that's okay. The other thing that you can do, because some people contact me who have Etsy stores or they sell their finished designs, their finished completed items, and they want to sell them, their finished yarn creations that they made from my patterns. It's totally fine to sell them. And the only thing that I ask people is where it's appropriate. If people ask you where you got it, I just prefer, I would just ask for designer credit. If anybody should ask who designed it, I just please tell them that I designed it. Maybe they would want to try to make it themselves and just point to where they can get that. That's the only thing that I ask for. But you're free to sell completed projects And if you do that, I do ask that you sell them for a reasonable price. And when I say reasonable, is don't cut yourself short. I mean, don't sell it for just $5 more than what you paid for the yarn. Calculate your craftsman's fee into it. I don't want you to sell yourself short, is what I'm trying to say. And also, if everybody sells everything super cheap, then that brings the value down for everybody in the industry. So you want to keep your prices high. I just said it. Yes, you want to keep your prices reasonable for something made by a craftsman. Um, we don't. Um, and I know it's hard sometimes because there sometimes can be things on the market that flood the market that are cheaper than what I could buy the original materials for. I mean, a lot of things sometimes coming out of China and other places where they have slave labor doing that will bring prices down, which is really, really terrible and unfortunate. But if you've made something, I mean, you do have to price it, kind of where the market will bear. I mean, you're not going to get $5,000, let's say, for example, but it's okay if you price something over $100 or even a few $100s or even several $100. It's okay. If you spent 40, 50 hours making it, see what the market will bear. It's like selling houses in some ways. It's like you start high, and if you have to come down a little bit, you can. But if you start low, there's no way you're going to ever go back up. So anyway, I just throw that out there to you. But thanks for the question, Jane. I know you didn't want me to go into all the other stuff, but it just kind of reminded me. And Jet One In says, as a watch subscriber, how do I find out about the live Zooms I missed? Jet One In, you might want to check your spam folder because I notified the entire watch community a couple of times within this past week, when I released the new scarf pattern. I don't know if you got that notification. And then I also sent out another notification letting everybody know the link, and also about the left-handed version has been up and rolling in the on the watch channel. So if you're not getting those emails from the watch.bonniebaycrochet.com channel, check your spam box and maybe make sure that just your computer knows not to just throw those away. But everybody, all members were notified. So I try to do that. I have to do that privately because I obviously don't want to go public with the links and stuff. Phil says, I have a book on dishcloth patterns that uses fingering weight yarn, but all the fingering weight I can find is hand wash only. Any leads on where I can find 100% cotton that can be machine washed? You know what I would do? It depends on the cotton. Wow, because usually fingering weight yarn is used for finer items, not for dishcloths. That's interesting that they would use a finer yarn. Um, I would check the book first to see if the book has yarn recommendations, because it's unusual to find that. I'm sure you can look it up online and find it. That's a real stumper of a question. Wow. Um, what I would do to cheat on that, I have a front loader washer machine. And what I would do, because if it's just a dishcloth, and you could even maybe make one once you find the yarn, even if it says hand wash only. But doesn't make sense to use yarn that's hand wash only to wash dishes, you know? Um, it just doesn't not making sense to me. I'm gonna have to do some research on this one. I would say anyway, this is what I would still do, even if the yarn is kind of fancy pants yarn for dishcloths, which is odd. I would put it in one of those laundry bags that you would use. I know you probably don't own one personally, but they have these bags you can get at Walmart or wherever, and they've lots of holes in them, and they're for lingerie or for delicates that you don't want shredded by the washing process. And you can get a small bag and zip it closed and stick it into a load of laundry and see what happens. That's what I would do. Do a test, maybe do a small test swatch, and just see how it handles it. But if it's yarn that you're going to use for cleaning pots and pans, it would have to be more durable than hand wash only. Anyway, I'll have to get back on that. Okay. I have to get back. I have the question here, so I'll try to do a little bit of looking online to find that. Um, Let me tell you just a couple more things here. Get the newsy stuff out of the way first. All right, the my wild Irish throw. St. Patrick's Day is still weeks, uh, 6 weeks or more away. Um, 7 weeks. I don't know. I'm not looking at a calendar right now, but it's still out there. So if you're looking for a wild Irish throw for St. Patrick's Day, of course, these things are not just for a single holiday. You can use them all year long, like I do. Um, but that is already on the Watch channel with the complimentary pattern. The written pattern is at Lovecrafts and Etsy. And of course, both the right and left handed are on my homepage. So you can check that out. I really enjoyed doing that one. It has several different cables. Trying to think. I don't have it with me. But anyway, some new cabling, some triple twist cables. This is not for the faint of heart. This is not a project for your very first cabling project. I'll just say it. It's really an intermediate to an advanced level, although it's an easy advanced level if you want to apply that, because there are some things about advanced levels that don't apply to this project. Um, but just wanted to throw that out there to you. If you're new to the channel and new to some of the cabling and you want to try that, by all means, if you're not afraid of making mistakes, dive into it, but don't start on this one. Look at some of the others, maybe a sampler, the Bonnie's Aaron sampler throw. And there's another one, the mystery throw. These were crocheted several years ago. Great way to learn, excuse me, great way to learn cables. And the wonderful thing about this is if there's a cable that you don't like, you can't do, it just frustrates you and you just want to throw it away. You don't have to do that cable. You can do the other cables in the throw. You can use up your extra yarn in the process. You can crochet them all together and have a beautiful throw. And you up your skills a bit so that you can tackle some of these others and not be intimidated by them. I do try to explain as best I can. There's still always going to be a learning curve. Um, yeah. All right. Next month, February 1st, which, oh my gosh, this is the 24th. What happened? We're well into 2025. February 1st, this is a Saturday, going to be releasing the Navigators Lapgan video number 1. It's going to be a 3-part, 3-week series, but there are going to be 6 videos. 3 of them are going to be right here on my channel, the Bonnie Bay Crochet channel. And the other 3 are going to be on Tiffany Hanson's channel, Crochet with Tiffany Hanson. If you haven't subscribed to her yet, please consider doing that. I will have links in the video description when the first video is released. So each week we're going to release 1 video. So you'll be able to do 2 panels the first week, 2 panels the second week, and the third week, oh, thank you for the balloons. The third week we're going to be releasing, she's going to be releasing how to crochet it together. And then the last week, I'm going to be doing the edging. It's the last week is going to be putting it together and finishing edges of this. I used, my brain is really slow today. Used paint box yarn from Lovecrafts, the Simply Aran. Let's see. I don't know if the yarn is still on sale there or not, but it might be. I know they've had this 40% off 10 and 5 packs of the Simply Aran. I think that's through the end of January, but I'm not totally positive as of the broadcast right now. Um, let me look up to see what I need for that. I hold on one second. I will look this up. Okay, here we go. Because I don't remember how many. Okay, so for this throw, oh, I didn't write them down. Oh my goodness. Hold on a second. Where did I put it? I put it somewhere. Doody 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 doo. All right. Well, anyway, I tell you what. I think it. I think it's. I'm not even going to tell you. I'm not going to tell you. I'd have to look it up, and I'm sorry. I'm away from home. I don't have those notes in front of me, but it does use paint box yarn. But if you don't want to use paint box yarn, it, for this upcoming Navigators Lap GAN, which by the way is dedicated to our military, the our veterans, and really happy to do that. We made it out of two shades of blue and white. Um, if you want to use your stash yarn, leftover yarn, this is a great project for that. It doesn't take a whole lot of yarn, and you can improvise on this. That's all I'll say about that. But anyway, February 1st, we'll have all the information you'll need for that. Um, I had that information written down. Again, I'm sorry I don't have that for you. Let's see. All right, so I think that's all my newsy stuff. So let me get back. Let me get back to any questions because I've missed a lot here. Okay, I did that. Oh, Jet One, that's so sweet. She said, "Doesn't feel like Friday until I see Bonnie." That's so sweet of you. I was actually on the fence today about going live. I was like, "Do I? Don't I?" But I'm going to share a little story with you. Honestly, I was a little discouraged, well, more than a little discouraged. Interacting with people on YouTube can be so uplifting. It can also be soul sucking, to use a phrase that I don't often use, and I don't use that lightly. And I just want to say that I want to commend you all for your positivity and for your encouragement, for your understanding of human frailty at times. I know I am human, I make mistakes, as do everybody, whether they admit it or not. Mistakes is how I learn best. There are some people out there that are just extremely entitled. I'm not going to say who I'm talking about or anything because that would not be appropriate. In fact, I don't even know who I'm talking about because they hide behind a pseudonym, a made up name. I understand why people use things not their names. That's fine. I understand that you have a right to your privacy and whatnot. But for some people, it gives them a podium to lash out at people and be very unforgiving and unkind and harsh, critical. And they're in a very safe place because nobody knows who they are, and they can rip and rip and rip and rip away at somebody else's work. Um, and I don't appreciate it. I don't appreciate it very much at all, especially when I am traveling. I am trying to serve family. I'm out of my habitat. And I take the time past my bedtime to stay up late and answer all the questions that I as best I can, trying to help people with stitch support and whatnot. Again, this is a very this is an exception to the rule. I mean, 95% of the comments that I get are so positive and encouraging. I cannot tell you how good that makes me feel and how much of a blessing that is. And one of the reasons that I decided to just go ahead with the live is I wanted to be with you guys because um, I felt like I was hit by a truck by some of these comments. And it's a legitimate, the person had a legitimate complaint. The pattern is not perfect. And I've spent years trying to support it and um, to do what I can to make up for my human frailty. Okay. I have seen hundreds of this design crocheted beautifully by many of you. I have received hundreds of photos, and thank you for that. And so that I know that the problem it's not that big, and it's something that's easy to understand, and I have responded to all the questions. But anyway, I'm going on and on and on about this too much. But I just wanted to say thank you, and just as a reminder, in case there's anybody out there that it can kind of be more of a narcissist. The world does not revolve around you. I'm sorry to tell you all. It doesn't revolve around me either. And yeah, I do care about you. I want to help you where I can. This is to the person that's just kind of been lashing out recently. Um, sorry to say this, but my family is more important than you getting your project done today. I will get back to you when I can. Okay. Actually, I answered this person 4 times, as best I could, and they are continuing to fuss, and they are going to hear crickets from this point on. And gosh, it feels so good to let you all know. You know what I'm talking about. If anybody out there has a YouTube channel or even on Facebook, and I know that people have been zinged, you know what I'm talking about. So again, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm feeling so much better hanging out with you guys today. Um, why do I let things like this? It's just so funny, you can have 100 compliments, and then the one that's just really mean. You know what I'm talking about, how it just sticks in our head. Um, so I am thankful that I am fighting the fight of faith and consciously not going to let them rent space anymore in my head. At least not none more, no more, no more. And just to encourage you all too, if you have people like that in your life, maybe people who are in your presence, who just don't have a good word to say ever. Um, yeah, don't let them take up space in your heart or in your head. Okay. And this is something you're going to have to fight. I will say that it's not something not to be passive about. You have to fight the fight of faith. You really do. You have to fight. You have to fight. Okay. Whew, thank you guys for listening. Those of you who are still here 41 minutes into this, thank you. I don't usually rant like that, but yeah, I just did. Okay. Again, looking back at Phil's question, that was a great question, Phil. Thanks again, Hannah, for sending these to me. Okay, thank you, Kelly. Kelly wants me to let y'all just remind you that yeah, she does sell her patterns in her inventory. Okay, I'm guessing finished items. I know that you sell and you do take orders. Well, good. And you're free to post um your store address in our chat, Kelly. Post away. I have no problem with that. Yeah, thank you, Hannah, for your sweet comments. Yeah. Um yeah, some days, stuff like the negativity, some days it just, I can just shrug it off, and some days it just it gets absorbed, and I'm just like, stop it. Anyway, and what's interesting too about some of these people, okay, one more thought, which indicates who I'm dealing with sometimes, is I have interacted with some of you, and you found patterns, issues, mistakes in the patterns, and you contact me personally through email. My email is everywhere, and some people have done this, and I cannot tell you how grateful I am for this. My patterns are professionally tech edited. I pay for tech editors. I pay for editors for the closed captions, which most people don't do. But I want the words to be clear when I translate it into like 15 languages now, or 12 languages, I guess now. But people contact me personally, and they say, I think there's a problem with this. Swati has done this. And I cannot tell you how indebted I am to you when you do that. And I see it, and it's like, oh my gosh, I'm going to, thank you for letting me know. I will apologize. Often, sometimes I'll even give them a free pattern if they're even interested in that after finding a mistake in one. But I will try to correct it. I will correct it on all the patterns that are going out there. And, but usually if there's like a glitch in the written pattern, the video explains it clearly. So a lot of times it's very small. They're not deal breakers, but I will correct them. I will apologize to whomever, and we move on. So yeah, I mean, we're in a world where things are not perfect, but we do our best, very best effort to do excellent work. All right. Anyway, moving on from that. Okay, DL Chris says, Still no upload of the left-handed version of the Sapphire Soliloquy. Oh yeah, I did that last week. I did that on Monday, which was my first day, back in the saddle. It should be on there, DL Crisp. If you need to look in the left-handed version. Do a search on the channel. I have searched and I see that and the pattern are there. If you still having trouble finding it, please contact me and I'll double check on that again. But I'm pretty sure. Yes, you are so right, Hannah, on your comment that you sent. Uh, okay. And Felicia, good to see you in the chat. Um, and is it Nunzia? Says, good morning. In Rome, it is raining. Yeah, I was going to say when I didn't see Rome, but I thought that looks like an Italian name. But I want to be careful about guessing. Um, well, I'm waving back to you in Rome. You have a beautiful, beautiful city, my friend. I've been privileged to be there a couple times, and it's just amazing. Oh, thank you, Hannah. And I remembered what I was going to say. Hannah posted. Thank you for the love, guys. I so appreciate that. But one thing that is common to people who are like this, and you may encounter, is they never say thank you, and there's never appreciative language. And it's just so sad to me because it makes me think, wow, they must be really sad people to be able to just see walking mistakes everywhere. Just see the bad and not see the good. And it reminds me of Abraham Lincoln's quote. He says, "Learned this from Pollyanna." You know, if you look for the bad, you will find it. Absolutely. Oh, thank you, Hannah, for sending that to me. And I just wanted to share all that with y'all, all not just to emote, but just to. I know that you all are in your fights out there on different levels. I mean, life is a fight, which is why at my funeral service, I already have some of my music picked out, and one of them is the theme to Rocky, because it's going to be a signal that the fight is over. Anyway, that life is a fight and you got to get in there. You got to put those gloves on, and you cannot you cannot relax. But fighting the fight of faith with truth, we've got to do that. And Jesus Joy said 7 says, God, family first. Yes, God, family first. You're the nicest and sweetest person. Well, you don't know me all that well, but thank you for saying that. Is so kind. It says this is spiritual warfare. The devil is busy. Yes, he is. He knows what to do to upset you. Yes. You're human and have feelings. Absolutely. Yeah. But he's going down. So, he's a defeated enemy. He's just kicking and screaming a little bit. So, yeah, it is entitlement. That's for sure, Hannah. Oh, thank you, Swati. Says, I appreciate you correcting patterns, and I'm happy to help when I come across one. That being said, you're still a fantastic designer and teacher. Oh, thank you, Swati. Thank you very much. I think part of it is I'm releasing a lot of things. I design a lot at a faster pace, I think, than what is normal, and certainly a lot faster pace than I used to. But that's just what keeps me going. We have Amanda says, afternoon from Nottingham, UK. It's tea time again, making some homemade sweet and sour pork. Oh, yum, with jasmine rice. I'll be right over. Looking forward to that entertaining chat while I cook. Oh, sweet. Thank you, Lynn, for your comment. You are such a cheerleader, my friend. And again, Jesus Joy 7, welcome. I'm finally getting to your first comment. Thank you so much. She says it's cloudy with ash from fires 6 miles from where I live. Wow. So you must be out there in California. And we have Felicia, and let's see. And Kelly Hart says, I'm having trouble sending you the patterns that I did. Well, I put the email in there, so hopefully that'll help you, Kelly. Thank you, Hannah, for just encouraging there and praying for people. And Karen P, good morning to you. And Dorothy says, it's starting to warm up here in Mississippi. I have made the Christmas cable throw. Yay. That's one of my favorites now. I'm thinking about purposing some of those stitches in a poncho as well. So, all right. Oh, finally get to the point where you get to meet William. So sweet. Thank you. I guess I probably didn't need to tell you his name, but it's out there. Um, yeah, he is. Yeah, thank you, Jesus Story 70. I said I saw him shopping at Joann's. I put a on my homepage in the shorts section. There's a little. It was so funny. I put that up, and it got like boom, like 8,000 before we even checked. There was like 8,000 views of that. So he has surpassed the viewing of my latest design, and he beat Hudson, my son, who was the icicle eater, beat him by 4 times the views. You just can't beat a baby or an animal, on online. There's just nothing cuter. Um, and Phil says, speaking of Florida, did you all see it was snowing there? Um, my daughter-in-law's parents are in Pensacola, Florida. They got 9.5 inches of snow. And I don't know how they're doing. I think they're still snowed in. I don't know that. I think they just have to wait till the sun melts it all. The Sunshine State that sun needs to just do its job, because there's nothing you can do in Florida. I mean, from Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, um, there's no such thing as sand and snow trucks, and there's no such thing as snow removal service, no, snow removal equipment. Um, Back in 1989, I've shared this story before, when we got about 15 inches in Myrtle Beach. Um, the only thing that I remember is seeing a road grader go down the road to just make one swath, just to try to remove some of the snow. We just had to wait till it melted enough so that we could get on the road to head further south to Florida, because that was the year that all the bridges in Jacksonville, Florida were closed. I-95 was shut down cold because all the bridges were iced over in Jacksonville. That sign you always see, bridge ices before the roadway, because you have cold air going above and below the bridge. It's, science in action there. Well, the bridges all froze, so they closed down the roadway. But yeah, Phil, that was pretty spectacular. And we've been getting my daughter Christy was getting uh, videos and pictures from Florida. I mean, just unbelievable. Her dad was outside in shorts. Oh yeah, he's in Florida, outside in shorts playing in the snow. It's so fun, just like a kid throwing snowballs at his wife is great. And I think that's the most. I think that's the most they've ever gotten there, like ever. So that's pretty cool. Um, Ekstrom says, lovely to hear William cooking in the background. Yep. And just getting to Kelly's question. And Margita, good to have you in the chat. Um, and yeah, and Kim says, good morning from windy West Texas. Oh, Barbara, my pleasure. Yeah, this little guy is so cute. Um, yeah, thank you, Phil. You guys are so sweet. And Carol says, good morning. Thank you for joining us. And Stephanie has a question. Do you happen to have a dog sweater pattern? I'm sorry, I don't. We don't have a good model to really make something like that. I mean, I'm sorry, you're gonna have to look somewhere else. Um, we have major allergies in our family. My husband, I married into allergies. I grew up with animals, but he's got major allergies to cats and dogs. So we've not been able to really have them in the house, with the exception of the cat that lives here, who is a Siberian forest cat, which means he doesn't have that enzyme in his saliva that causes certain people to be allergic. And he's a old kitty now. He hasn't made an appearance. So, um, but yeah, I've not been able to make a dog sweater. I'm not even sure how to, since I'm not a dog owner at this point in life, I don't know the best way to really do that. But I'm sure you could find some on Lovecrafts or Etsy, or maybe do a Google search, and hopefully you can find something that you can like. Let's see. Wanda Bigelow is in the chat. Just, I'm working on your cow shawl with the wattle stitch. Good morning to Hannah as well. It's 44 in Sacramento. That's cold for you all, isn't it? And Martha, she says it's a chilly 48 degrees in Southern Cal. Oh, I know you guys are freezing. Um, that would feel like the summer to us right now. um, and thanks again, Love the Craft, for the update on your son's surgery. Phil says I usually shovel when I'm at home. I don't have a lot to shovel, so it's not that bad. Um, I will say what's really nice about our driveway now is this is the first time we've gotten snow with a paved driveway. And we do have a rather large driveway, but for like 20 years it was gravel until we finally got it you know, we're able to get it paved. And you guys helped me do that, by the way. It's just for whatever reason, I had to just wait 20 years to get the funds to do that. But we had to repave our road. We got a steal of a deal from an excellent paver. I'm really glad that we did that. It just makes it so much better in the wintertime. And once you just clear a little bit of the snow out and the sun hits the dark pavement, it just dries it up. No ice. It's really great. In years past, we used to have because our house faces the north, so we would have um, ice, like it would melt and then freeze, melt and freeze. We just had like a pile of ice right as you step out the door until April because we never got direct sunlight to melt it. That's not a problem now. So now we have Catherine says, hi from cold and stormy Ireland. Love your tutorials. Thank you. I know it can get cold in Ireland. I was there, it was 2012. It's been a while. I need to go back. But it was in no, it was in September. It was in September 2012. And I remember my husband had to buy a jacket at the Cliffs of Moher because it was so windy and cold. And he's still wearing that jacket. It's like 3 shades lighter than it was, but it's his favorite jacket. He wears it all the time. So I'm always reminded of that trip. And let's see. Let's see. I'm just going to see if there is anybody new in the chat because I do need to finish out here. Um, and again, I'm getting to your comments. Thank you guys for your sweet, sweet comments. And Stephanie, welcome to the chat. And Lynn, thank you. Thank you. And Jesus Doris says, yeah, we have to pray for this person and people like that. Love covers a multitude of sins, continuing fighting the good fight of faith. Absolutely. When I say fight, that's what I mean is fighting the fight of faith. And, I try, I really do try, but, no matter how, sometimes you just have to just walk away, and just not continue the nonsense. And Phil says, yeah, we don't need the negativity in our lives. It's detrimental to our health. Life is hard enough without all the extra nonsense. Absolutely. And that's why you guys are so great. I mean, just, many of us, I'm sure we don't agree on many things, which is why we don't talk about a lot of the other things. But quite honestly, we don't have to agree on all these things. I mean, we can still be friends. I mean, focus on what you have in common. And I have friends that don't look anything like me, that come from parts of the world that I can't even pronounce the words, and who who are some of my closest friends. And yeah, we have different ideas on things. We have different ideas, different opinions, but that's okay. That's what makes this world. That's what makes America so great. Is we don't have to think all the same thing. And that's what's so wonderful about our country. And that's why we have to be very careful about those who want to divide us. We have to be very careful about that in this industry. We do in this industry. Just be careful. And this is a different subject, a different kind of people, but you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, okay, I'm getting another call. Okay, I'll get to that in a second. But that's what's so great about different parts of the world. Obviously, not just America, but America. We're known for being a melting pot of many different ideas. It's okay if you don't agree. Um, Again, I met wonderful people, and we're on very different, very different worlds in so many ways. But we can still share love, and we can still love and care for each other. Um, Katie wants to know, Do I have a half fingers glove pattern with flaps? I'd love it with cables. Okay, I don't have, I'm guessing you're thinking of a fingerless glove. I do have some fingerless glove designs out there, um, but none with flaps right now. I don't, but I do have some fingerless glove patterns out there. There's if you look on on my page, look for uh quick crochet gifts. That playlist has several in there. Okay. Um, and Stephanie wants to know, when is the best time of the year to visit Ireland? I'd like to visit soon. Hmm. That's a really good question. I think you'd need to ask somebody from Ireland. I love visiting it in the fall. I had a delightful time. Didn't have to worry about it being excessively hot. One thing you might want to think about if you're from America and visiting places in Europe is you want to you have to be careful because a lot of places in Europe don't have air conditioning, and a lot of places don't need air conditioning there. But once in a while, they get a super hot spell. And my husband has traveled overseas for work when it's been in the summertime. They've had conferences like in July, and then all of a sudden the heat wave comes. There's no AC. They don't serve drinks with ice. I mean, so maybe not in the heat of the summer. Maybe I personally like to go after the kids have gone back to school, like once school has started, because then there are just fewer people. But I don't know. I think we would need to ask somebody who's maybe more familiar too with Ireland. I know it gets cold. You have that cold Atlantic water, surrounding it. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I really probably don't need to say too much more because I know that September was really nice, but definitely bring a jacket with you. Uh, I'd rather be a little cool than too hot when I travel. Um, and Swati says, I wish I could quit my job and crochet more. I can't keep up with all the patterns, but I try to remember to enjoy each stitch. And it's not about the product; it's about the journey. That is so sweet, and especially with your the thing that you're fighting with the. I won't mention it because I want to respect your privacy, but I do hope that you're able to continue, Swati. I've been praying that would stabilize and that you would not lose any muscle dexterity or anything. Um, yeah, thank you, Stephanie. Yeah, the thing that I shared, it really wasn't to the point of tears, but it's definitely it was frustrating um, because I've been responding to this the last couple days. And apparently, it wasn't good enough. But anyway, yeah. And Stephanie says, I finished another of my favorite sports poncho. I love that pattern. So quick and easy to whip up. Well, thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed that one. Um, and Jesus Joy 7 said, thanks for asking. Hope you're doing well. We have a fire raging in San Diego, about 6 miles from me. Thank God we have a huge lake to help the scooters. Oh wow. I guess that would be the airplanes that do the water drop. Or is that, I wonder if that's where, yeah. Okay, I'm not familiar with that language as much. Um, and Sharon, welcome to the chat. She says, I guess climate change is real. Oh, I don't know. This is not a scientific, not going to talk too much about that, but the climate is always changing. I yeah, I'm not really huge into that personally. Not denying that things change, but it's the question is what is the cause is the question, and certainly volcanoes and things like that change the atmosphere far more than a lot of other things do. So um and if as far as the fire goes, I probably shouldn't say too much on this, but I do know that um the land there has not been maintained very well. I do know that. I do know that they do not do controlled burns. They stopped doing that back in the 60s, maybe 50s, or somewhere along the line. They passed legislation to just let everything grow natural. And if you let everything grow natural, you're going to have problems. That's all I will say. And they let everything grow natural. And in fact, I do know something about this because my husband's family has a farm. My husband grew up farming, and they recently had a controlled burn on their farm in South Carolina. You have to do that when the wind is not windy, obviously. You have to, pay attention to the weather. But by doing controlled burns regularly, you get rid of the fuel that falls from the trees, the dead limbs and whatnot. If you don't do that regularly and don't maintain things do get out of control. And I think a lot of it may be controversial to say this for some, but a lot of it is just has not been managing, has not been taking care of what they have. And that was legislated that they were not allowed to take care of it the way they should. So, which is really, really terrible and unfortunate because that is such a beautiful part of the world, a beautiful part of our country, and it deserves to be cared for better. Um, yeah. Hannah says, move on. Okay. Okay. Probably said far more than I needed to there. But again, this is my opinion. This is what I've learned. I just recently came from the farm where it was still smoldering a bit. But anyway, that's always preventative so that that doesn't happen. Um, yeah, it's just really unfortunate. I just hope that they get better care, that they get better leadership to care better for their people there, because you all deserve it. That's for sure. Um, and Shanti is looking for a good poncho tutorial. Um, it really depends on what you're looking for. What I would suggest you do is look at my homepage, go to playlist, hit playlist, and there is a playlist of ponchos in there, and you can look at the ponchos and see which one that you like, because I do have different styles. Some are paneled ponchos and some are like the my favorite sports poncho where you just work it in rounds. So it really depends on what you're looking for. um Katie says, tell Florida we need our snow back in South Dakota to go with the temps. I tell you what, I'm sure many of people in Florida would be happy to give it back. um Yeah, that's funny. Uh, oh, thank you, Stephanie, for your comment. All right, let me make sure. Let's see if there's anybody I haven't said hey to. I really don't want to miss out. I'm gonna have to skip over some things here. Uh, uh, and love to craft. Thank you. That those are really good questions you sent. Oh, Wendy from the yarn shop in Hagerstown, Maryland. Good to see you in the chat. I still need to get there. I just need to get home and stay home for a while so I can be able to get out and go on drives like that. Monique says, I went to Ireland in March. It was cold and snowing, but still beautiful. Ah, yeah. Well, if you want to go to Ireland and it's not snowing, September is a good time to go. um, yeah, I don't know that I'd want to go there in September. I mean, I don't know that I'd want to go there when it's really cold, because I think you'd miss some of the beauty there, with the trees and everything. Dublin is beautiful too. It's so much fun to walk. You want to be able to walk around outside to see uh, a lot of the things there. And I think you'd want the temperatures to be above freezing at least, but maybe not too hot. I don't know if they get really hot temperatures there, but anyway. Thank you, Lynn. She says, Jesus says to go and follow peace with all men. We are not about confusion, but peace. Yeah. All right. Um, Thank you, Carol, for checking on Hannah, hoping her knee is better. Um, and good afternoon, Deanne. And all right. Sandra says, time to exercise, everyone. Take care. Have a beautiful weekend. Yes, ma'am. Um, Let me go ahead. I just wanted to read a very short verse to you today. I was just trying to read something that would be an encouragement, and I needed this verse for me, and so I'm going to just read this to you. This is Jesus's words from John 14, verse 27. And he says, "Peace I leave with you, my peace I give to you. Not as the world gives, do I give it to you. Let not your hearts be troubled, neither let them be afraid." So that's where my hope is. And I'm just so thankful that I can depend on something that has nothing to do with my performance, but it's all based on what he has done. So I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful week. I hope to see you next week. Hope to be broadcasting from Gaithersburg, Maryland. And in the meantime, happy crocheting. If you have any questions, you know where to reach me, bonniebay@me.com. I will answer as soon as I can. God bless. Bye-bye. All done.